Lots of overnight news to tell you about this morning. We start with a robbery that may have ended with a shooting right here in Albuquerque.
Yeah, this actually started all at 1 a.m. at the 7-Eleven at Central and University, and that is where our News 13's David Romero has been all morning long. David, I can see that there is still quite a scene behind you. What's the very latest?
A number of officers and detectives are still here on scene. Elizabeth, we saw a number of them go inside the 7-Eleven a few moments ago. A few of them had vests on that said homicide on there. Now, there's no confirmation from APD yet as to if this was indeed a shooting or also a fatal shooting. But what we do know from them at this point was that this has been confirmed a robbery here at the 7-Eleven, and this is, of course, on the southwest corner of Central and University. There are reports this may have turned into a fatal shooting. As we mentioned, of course, no confirmation as to who may have been shot or where they may have been shot. Now, officers on scene told me that the violent crimes detectives are talking to witnesses in the area. They do expect to be out here for quite a while, so this will affect the morning commute in this area. Now, eastbound Central before University is down to 2 lanes. You cannot turn right, which would be south. As for University, southbound Central is down to 1 lane. This will allow investigators to have the mobile crime lab out here and process the scene. Now, detectives tell us they expect to have more information released at about 8 o'clock this morning. That's when the public information officer will be here on scene. Now, again, this is not confirmed to be a shooting or even a fatal shooting at this point, but we do know it's a robbery, and there are a lot of detectives going through that store at this point. Back to you.
Yeah, no doubt, David. We can definitely see that from your live shot there. Thank you so much for that new information. By the way, as soon as we get more information on this, we'll be sure to bring it to you.
We now know for sure this morning the man who died in a shootout with police in northern New Mexico this weekend is Rex Sherwood, the same man who started shooting at police last week and took off into the mountains. And what else we have learned about Sherwood is downright terrifying. Our sources say Rex Sherwood was extremely anti-government and had homemade bombs in the back of this truck he was driving when tribal police tried to pull him over near Dulce on Tuesday. That was for not using a turn signal. That's when police say he led them on a chase, got out of the truck with a bulletproof vest on, and started shooting at officers with an AK-47. After that, Sherwood took off into the mountains, and on Sunday morning, he got into another shootout with police at this gas station in Dulce, and he died. Right now, investigators are trying to find out if he killed himself or if police shot and killed him. They're also trying to find out what Sherwood planned to do with all of those homemade bombs. Well, police say a teenager made a big mistake after he robbed a man at his home near Taos, then went back to the house a second time. Investigators say Robert Carpenter broke into the home early yesterday morning, demanded cash and marijuana, and then left. Well, after that, the man who lives there locked the doors and he called police. And investigators say Carpenter went right back and stuck his gun through a doggy door. That's when the man inside the home shot Carpenter 6 times in the stomach. He was rushed to the hospital. The man who shot him was not arrested or charged with any crimes.
Several people are recovering from their injuries this morning after a red light runner causes a wreck in northeast Albuquerque. This morning, we hope to learn more on who the driver who ran the red light was. All we know is that a federal government truck and a Chevy courtesy shuttle collided at Lomas and Juan Tabo yesterday morning. 6 people were hurt, 3 critically. Albuquerque police say government officials aren't saying anything more about the truck driver at this point.
What is going on with PNM overcharging thousands of people in Santa Fe? That's exactly what the Public Regulation Commission is trying to find out this morning. At first, PNM admitted that it overcharged a couple hundred people on Santa Fe's west side by about $6 a month. But now PNM says it actually overcharged more than 3,200 people, something Public Regulation Commissioner Douglas Howe is not happy about.
That raises a lot of suspicions and a lot of concerns on our part that PNM may not be forthcoming with all of the numbers on this, or that PNM simply doesn't know themselves.
Well, PNM says a meter reader who did not read his meters the right way caused all of these problems. The people who got overcharged should get a credit on their next bill, and despite that, Commissioner Howe wants the PRC to investigate.
This morning, it looks like the plans to build a billion-dollar ghost town in southeastern New Mexico won't happen, and that means neither will the jobs. 2 months ago, Governor Susana Martinez praised Pegasus Global for their outside-of-the-box idea. The company struck a deal with Lee County to build a 15-square-mile ghost city near Hobbs. Now, it would have served as a laboratory for testing out new technologies in energy, utilities, and transportation. 350 permanent jobs were supposed to come with it. But on Friday, the company said they ran into problems with the land and pulled the plug on the project. That announcement came as a shock to officials in Lee County who said they were not notified. The governor is still holding out hope.
They've decided that Hobbs isn't good, and Las Cruces will gladly take them on.
The state will not be out any money since the project was privately funded. Well, things are finally back to normal at the Sunport this morning after an American Airlines flight makes an emergency landing. Sunport officials say the plane took off from Albuquerque on its way to Dallas just before noon yesterday, but turned around after experiencing some sort of engine problem. Then, as the plane landed, it blew a tire. The pilot was able to taxi to the gate. No one was hurt. All the passengers were given other flights.
More trouble for the Air Force's top fighter jets this morning. The same F-22 Raptors that are based right here in New Mexico. And this is all because 2 more pilots lost oxygen while they were flying. The Air Force says this was because of regular mechanical issues, not the oxygen problems that have been plaguing the fighter jets. Investigators have not said if this involves the F-22s at Holloman Air Force Base near Alamogordo.